Today's class is entitled Counsel, the Blessing, and the Curse. All right. Counsel, the Blessing, and the Curse. Dealing with counsel, when you do it correctly, it is a blessing unto your life. All right. When you follow wise counsel, it is a blessing. We see that all throughout the scriptures. When you don't follow counsel, all right, Lord got a funny way of making it fall upon your head. All right, we're going to go through those examples in the Bible as well. So it can be a blessing or it can be a curse. It's all about how you choose it, who you get counsel from, when you get the counsel. All of those different things play a part in how that counsel can be good or bad for you. So from there, let's go to Titus chapter 3 and verse 3. First part, we're going to start off with why we all need counsel. Why we all. Moshe, why do we need counsel? Stand up.
Hello. Shalom, sir.
Hey, shalom.
Need counsel in order to go in.
Okay. I like that answer. I want something else along with it. What happens if we don't get counsel?
Go in a direction. Consequence.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, we could, though.
Oh, I see. Well.
Hey, there you go. It's 100%. 100% when you don't get counsel, you will go the wrong way, and we prove that throughout. But all of those answers are correct. Go to Titus 3. What I was looking for was we need counsel because each and every one of us is wicked. We follow our own mind, our own thoughts, our own opinion, our own suggestion. We're going to choose wrong every time because Jeremiah says that our hearts are terribly wicked. Who can know it? But read that in Titus.
Check. The book of Titus, chapter 3 and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish.
We ourselves were also what?
Sometimes foolish.
Each and every one of us were foolish in God's eyes at some point. Read.
Disobedient.
What?
Disobedient.
Disobedient. Read.
Deceived.
Uh-huh.
Serving diverse lusts.
Hold on. It said, well, read that part again.
Serving diverse lusts.
I want deceived. Read that.
Deceived.
Uh-huh.
Serving diverse lusts and pleasures.
So, if we were deceived at one point, what type of thoughts, what type of counsel are we going to do amongst ourselves? It's going to be the wrong counsel. To deceive is to take somebody away from where they're supposed to be at or away from the truth when you deceive them. So if we were all once deceived, what else it said? We were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts, living in malice. Read.
Living in malice and envy, hateful, and hating one another.
Envy, hateful, and hating one another. What type of counsel can you give somebody when you roll in those type of spirit? You only going to give off the same vibrations that you have within. That's why we always say counsel up. You want to attain the spirit. You want to attain the wisdom of somebody that's higher than you. That's why you don't want to counsel with brothers and sisters that's on the same level you. You just walk in the door and you're going to counsel with the sister beside you that's brand new too. It's both y'all first day and y'all going to give counsel to each other. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense at all. Read it again.
Book of Titus, chapter 3 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful, and hating one another.
Read.
But after that, the kindness and love of God, our Savior toward man, appeared.
So, all of us, Christ appeared to each and every last one of us that's in here. Now we trying to get ourselves together. We trying to change. And on that path, you're going to receive counsel to get yourself to measure up to that full measure of Christ. Because if you try to do it alone, it's not going to work. You're going to receive counsel to change different things in your spirit that you're not going to see in yourself. You're going to receive counsel on how to deal with your spouse, how to deal with yourself, your job, all these different facets of life, because when you try to do it yourself, you're not going to do it correctly. How do we know that? Go to Proverbs 18 and 17 real quick. That's why counsel is so important, because everybody else is going to see something different than what you see.
Check. The book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 17. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just.
It seems just. When you first to your own cause, it seems just. When you're the only person that's giving counsel, when you're the only person that's evaluating the situation, when you're the only person that's mad at your wife, that's mad at your husband, whatever thought come to your mind is going to seem right. Read.
He that is first in his own cause seemeth just.
It says seem just. Read.
But his neighbor cometh and searcheth him.
But your neighbor, your counselor, he comes and searches out the situation. I give you a real life example. We just had an officer trying to skip town, and I say, hey, did you do A, B, C, D? No. Did you do this? No. Did you do that? No. That this don't sound right. But in his mind, everything was good. Yeah, this is my last resort. This is all I can do. Hey, hold on. Did you do this? Did you ask? No. I just gotta go. I gotta go. Well, I'm looking at the situation. All the other brothers looking at the situation. We like, this ain't adding up. Likewise, in your own lives, you may say, hey, I gotta quit my job because A, B, C, D. And somebody else come in that had experience like, no, it sounds like you just need to ask for a request to be in a different department. Oh, I didn't think about that. Different facets of life, but you will never get those answers if you don't get the counsel. I watched a video the other day. I wanted to find it. But somebody said, you know, y'all see the videos for people that coach, online coaching and all that stuff. And he was just speaking about the power of that. He says, I don't want to live 40 years to get the experience that he get, but I can pay him $20,000 and I can get his 40 years of experience. Likewise, in his truth, I may not be in the truth 30 years like Bishop, but I can sit before his feet and I can ask questions and I can get the same wisdom that he got. Why? Because I'm willing to ask and get the wisdom. Y'all understand that? But if you don't put yourself in those situations to ask those questions, to humbly come before somebody else and put yourself out there, you're not going to get those answers. You're not going to get those answers, and you're going to go down the path that you were originally going to go on because you didn't get the counsel. So from there, go to Isaiah 60 and verse 2. Isaiah 60 and verse 2. And right now I'm going over why we all need to get counsel. Why we all need counsel.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth.
The darkness shall cover the earth, read.
And gross darkness the people.
And gross darkness the people. What's the brother in the second row? What's your name, brother in the red hoodie? Travis or Tavis? Tavis. All right, what that mean? Gross darkness the people.
Stand up.
Guessing the gross darkness is sin?
Yes, it's sin. It is sin. But what is it? Because it says, for behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. Okay, good. That's fine. That's fine. Let me see something real quick. Let's see if this is the precept I want. Go to 2nd Ezra 15 and 6. 2nd Ezra 15 and 6. Gross darkness to people. That means darkness, sin has covered the earth. But over the children of Israel, we are in the deepest depths of all sins on the face of the earth. Our darkness is deeper than everybody else's. Read that.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth.
For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. So you hit it right on the head. That's that sin. That's the darkness. Read.
And their hurtful works are fulfilled.
And the hurtful works are fulfilled. Go to Matthew 24:12. So that wickedness is that darkness. And it says the people are in gross darkness. So we in the lowest estate that can be found. Understanding that, when we come into this truth, how much more do we need to consider our ways? All right, read that.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound.
And because what?
Iniquity shall abound.
Iniquity shall abound. Read.
The love of many shall wax cold.
Let's get iniquity real quick. Go to Proverbs 38:18. I'll show you what iniquity is. Psalms, my bad. Psalms 38:18. He was like, I ain't never been to Proverbs 38:18. That's going to be a new precept. It's a new up my sleeve.
Check. The book of Psalms, chapter 38 and verse 18. For I will declare mine iniquity.
For I will declare mine iniquity. Read.
I will be sorry for my sin.
I will what?
Be sorry for my sin.
I will be sorry. I will be sorry for my sin. So iniquity is sin. So it says iniquity have abound. Sin has abound on the earth. Gross darkness to people. Jeremiah 4:22. Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 22. Once again, this is why I'm going over why we need counsel. This is the life that each and every one of us is coming out of. This is how we've been groomed from the time we've been born. We've been following the ways of America, following the ways of TV, following the ways of celebrities, of sports, all these different things. So our thinking is not in line with God naturally. The only way we're going to get our thinking aligned with God is by reading the scriptures and getting counsel from those that are learned and studied in the Bible. Read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish.
My people is foolish. The children of Israel is foolish. Read.
They have not known me. They are sottish children.
They are what?
They are sottish children. And they have none understanding.
They have what?
None understanding.
So if we don't have any understanding according to God, what type of counsel are we going to give? What type of counsel are we going to receive from brothers and sisters that are in the world? Now, obviously, we got situations. The scripture where it says, though the children of the darkness are wiser than the children of the light. There are situations where those that are in the world, they have more wisdom than us. Why? Because they're wise in their different crafts and things that they do. You got it? Are you looking for it? Right? So why he get that? Let me look for it myself as well. So, the children of darkness are wiser than the children of the light. Why is that? Found it? What is it?
Luke 16 and 8.
Luke 16 and 8. I was right there.
Check. The book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 8. And the Lord commended the unjust steward, because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light.
So the children of this world is wiser than the children of the light. So even in this world, even though we're in the midst of wickedness, we still dumb, according to God. All the wickedness we learn, you would think we would have what they call street smarts. But God says, nope, the white man still outsmarts us because we haven't applied the counsel the way we're supposed to. So from there, go back to Jeremiah 4.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil.
They are what?
Wise to do evil.
Read.
But to do good, they have no knowledge.
But to do good, they have no knowledge. To do good, they have no knowledge. That's where we coming from. That's where each and every one of us is coming from. The brothers and sisters that's walking in, that's what God says we're at. So we got to build ourselves from day one when we come into this truth. That's why you should seek to those brothers and sisters that have from this base state that God says that we're in. From there, go to Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 22, because it says we are foolish children.
The book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
The knowledge of wickedness.
The what?
The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
Right. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. So just because your auntie is 80 years old, or your grandma, your grandpapa, whatever, and they've been doing this and doing that for however many years, God says the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. They are not worthy to counsel you. I forgot who said recently, but a sister said, if I would have got counsel from married women instead of the single sisters when I was married, I probably wouldn't have been divorced. Who has said that? Yeah, Tyrese's ex-wife. Yep. Pull that meme up if you can, that picture. But she said that out of her own mouth. She understood that she failed at that time in getting counsel from the right person or the right people. And our people do that a lot. Read that again.
The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence.
Neither at any time is the counsel of sinners prudence, meaning it's not a good thing to take the counsel of a sinner. They don't know what they're talking about. Don't take the counsel of sinners. From there, go to Sirach 8 and 17. Sirach chapter 8 and verse 17.
The book of Sirach, chapter 8 and verse 17. Counsel not with a fool.
Consult not with a fool. Read.
Consult not with a fool, for he cannot keep counsel.
For he cannot keep counsel. Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5. Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart.
Do what?
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Read.
And lean not unto thine own understanding.
And lean not unto thy own
I work with women.
understanding. You found it? Yeah, found it?
I work with women.
Go ahead. That's it? She said in this video?
I would never tell a woman to walk through that in the same frame of mind
Put it
I
on the
was
screen
in when I
so
did
we can see it.
And when you say that, but what frame of mind was that? What do you mean by that in particular?
I was very, very hurt. I was very angry. And I remember like when I made like the decision, I was like hysterically crying on the phone with my attorney. That was not the person I should have been on the phone with when like, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway,
Pause.
I was hysterical.
So she was on the phone with her attorney discussing divorce matters. What is the attorney looking at? Dollar signs. Oh, yeah, baby, you need to divorce him. You need to divorce him. In her mind, okay, he worried. He got this, he got that. I'm finna come up about $500,000 right here. Quick, this is an open and shut case. Give me that Sirach real quick, and we're going to go back to this later in the class, but we got to go to it right now. Sirach 37. Sirach 37. And pull that video back up. We're going to finish that video. Sirach 37 and start at verse 7.
The book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Every counselor extolleth counsel, but there is some that counseleth for himself.
There's some people that counsel for themselves. You got to know who you counseling with. Sister be counseling. Both y'all single. You asking about a brother. She like, yeah, I don't think he the one for you. And next week he proving her. Or she proving him, I mean. You got to know who you counseling with. Read it again.
Every counselor extolleth counsel, but there is some that counseleth for himself.
Read.
Beware of a counselor, and know before what need he have.
Know before what need he have. Know the spirit of that brother or sister that you talking with. Like she said, she was in the wrong spirit dealing with the, she going to a lawyer asking about matters of her marriage. That's the wrong person to be asking those questions for. Right, conflict of interest, 100%. 100%. Pull the video back up.
With women, I would never tell a woman to walk through that in the same frame of mind I was in when I did it.
And when you say that, but what frame of mind was that? What do you mean by that in particular?
I was very, very hurt. I was very angry. And I remember like when I made like the decision, I was like hysterically crying on the phone with my attorney. That was not the person I should have been on the phone with when, like, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, I was hysterically crying. And I was not in any position to make that decision. I was extremely emotionally intoxicated. We can be intoxicated with our emotions. I work with women.
She wasn't in her right state of mind when she made a decision. All right. That's why the scripture says, be angry, but sin not. Let not the sun go down upon wrath. Give me that real quick. Go to be angry and sin not. Real quick. Let's get the understanding on that. Ephesians 4:26. I think that's what it was. No, not Ephesians. Somewhere around. Okay, that's it. Read that.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and verse 26. Be ye angry.
Be ye angry.
And sin not.
And sin not. Read.
Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Who can tell me what that means? All right, Brother Moshe.
So, do not let the sun go down on your wrath, meaning that you're involving the situation.
Okay. All right. I used to think that too. Take a seat. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Who can tell me what that means? Who can tell me what that means? Also, you want to take a shot? All right.
Going to like you shouldn't basically like before you pass on this earth having a bunch of unresolved issues where brothers have thoughts against them, anger against them, and by the time your judgment come, you have no unresolved. You have all those issues unresolved.
Okay. Who else want to take a shot? Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. So let me ask y'all this. The moon and the sun is the what? It's what? They are what?
Lights.
They're lights. What does God call the light? The law. So let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Even though you're angry, make decisions with wisdom, understanding the laws of God. Go to Micah 3:6. Micah 3:6.
The book of Micah, chapter 3 and verse 6. Therefore, night shall be unto you.
Therefore, night shall be unto you. Remember, we went on to darkness earlier. That night is sin and wickedness. Read.
That ye shall not have a vision.
Right, because when you're in sin, God is not with us. He's separated. For our iniquity separate us from God. Read.
And it shall be dark unto you.
And it shall be what?
Dark unto you.
And it shall be dark unto you. You're not seeing God. You're not seeing righteousness. You're not seeing the light. Read.
That ye shall not divine. And the sun.
And the what?
And the sun.
And the what?
And the sun.
Read.
Shall go down over the prophets.
How did the sun go down over the prophets? That means they lost their wisdom. Read.
And the day shall be dark over them.
And the day shall be dark over them. So that sun, when it says, be angry and sin not, let not the sun go down upon your wrath. I mean, let not the, what is it? Go back to it. Make sure I quote it right. What did it say? Let not the sun go down on your, I'm saying that right. That didn't sound right. That's right. That sounds weird. Go ahead, read it again.
Book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not.
Be angry and sin not.
Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
And let not the sun go down upon your wrath. So, Now that we gave you the understanding, Moshe explain it so everybody can get it. I want to make sure we all good on this.
So let not the sun go down upon your wrath means that always filter whatever you're thinking through the laws of God.
There you go.
So make sure that you wisdom, law, resolve whatever issue.
There you go. I like that. Give me Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. Don't let the sun go down upon your wrath.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad,
Oppression make a wise man mad. Read.
and a gift destroyeth the heart.
So if you really oppress, if you really a wise man, you're gonna be mad at the conditions that your people in. Instead of you just being mad, a real wise man is gonna come up with solutions to the problem. You're gonna organize your people. You're going to teach your people. You're going to unify your people. That's what you do. You don't let the sun go down upon your wrath. You keep your wisdom and you organize. From there, go back to Proverbs. What was that? Proverbs 3? Yep, Proverbs 3 and 5. You had started off reading it, right? Yep.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Read.
And lean not unto thine own understanding.
And lean not unto thine own understanding. Read.
Verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Mm-hmm.
Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil.
So be not wise in thine own eyes. How can you be wise in your own eyes? You get counsel. You get direct orders. Do A, B, C, D, and you say, I'm going to do it my way. You ain't trusting in the Lord because you don't see the men, the women over you as wise men, godly individuals. And all of us have done that before. I remember one time Deacon Loverton was getting on us on live class. We was mad, me and Cap sitting there. We like, dang, we didn't do nothing. And we didn't do nothing. But it was something else. The Lord was working on our spirit. We had to sit there and take it. And after the class, we called Deke, why you do this, do that? He's like, brother, calm down, brother. And then now looking back, like, hey, yeah, we just need to relax. It ain't about us. It ain't about you. This thing is bigger than each and every one of us. Y'all understand that? So, read that again, verse 7.
Verse 7. Be not wise in thine own eyes.
Be not wise in thine own eyes. Read.
Fear the Lord.
Fear the Lord.
And depart from evil.
And depart from evil. So a lot of times when we read fear the Lord in our own mindset, we think that's talking about just fearing the Lord. But when you really fear the Lord, you fear the men and women that's put over you in the Lord. That's just like sisters say they married to Christ. You ain't married to Christ. You ain't got no connection to Christ unless you are appointed over men. You need some leadership over you. Likewise, the wife, she got to go through her husband. That's how this thing works. From there, go to go to Hebrews real quick. It says, fear the Lord. Matter of fact, give me Sirach 7 and 29. Let me show you what it means when it says, fear the Lord.
The book of Sirach, chapter 7 and verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Fear the Lord.
Do what?
Fear the Lord.
Saying the same thing. Fear the Lord and what?
With all thy soul.
Uh-huh.
And reverence his priests.
Hold on. How is that in the same instance? That don't make sense. Read it again.
Fear the Lord with all thy soul.
Fear the Lord with all thy soul. Read.
And reverence his priests.
Why? Because you can't see God. You can't see Christ. But what you can see is the government and the organized nation that he built in front of you. And the way you reverence that Godhead is by reverencing those men that God chose to set up to organize that thing on earth. That's how you fear God. But people will read Proverbs 3 and 5 every day and despise all the leadership, anybody in front of them. Remember the other brother sitting right here in this table at one point? Well, not this table, but another table. Anyway, I said, bro, you hate leadership. He said, I ain't got no leader. My leader is God. I said, okay. See how far that gets you. Yeah, go ahead, read it.
Verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
Love him that made thee with all thy strength.
Uh-huh.
And forsake not his ministers.
Hold on. And do what?
Forsake not his ministers.
Read.
Fear the Lord.
Fear the Lord.
And honor the priest.
And honor the priest. Read.
And give him his portion, as it is commanded thee, the first fruits and the trespass offering, and the gift of the shoulders, and the sacrifice of sanctification, and the first fruits of the holy things.
And the first fruits of the holy things. You wanted to go back into your Levitical priesthood, huh? You was like, yeah. Make sure you save me the big piece of chicken. So, understand, Proverbs 3 and 5 is real deep, and that's a big Christian scripture. But they don't respect no leadership. They don't let nobody tell them to do nothing. Give me the one in Hebrews 13 and 17. Hebrews 13 and 17.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 17. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief. For that is unprofitable for you.
For that is unprofitable unto you. So obey them that have the rule over you. That's going into fearing the Lord. When you fear the Lord, you respect the men and women that's put over you. You respect the security team. You respect the fire protect what is it called? The stewardship program. You respect all of that because you understand it's coming under the guidance of the Most High in Christ. But when you don't, you're rebellious. You despise governments. All right? These are they that are spots in our feast. Go back to Jeremiah 17 and 9. And I'm still hitting on, I'm just getting the class ready, why we need the counsel, going into our mindset coming out of the world.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things.
The what?
The heart is deceitful above all things.
Our hearts are deceitful above all things. Most of us in here, adults, we all know all the different things we try to do to do evil. How can I leave the door half cracked? Let me see. Can I disconnect the security system so something don't go off? All these different things we try to do to figure out to do the things that we want to do. Read it again.
The heart is deceitful above all things.
Our hearts are deceitful above all things. Read.
And desperately wicked.
And what?
Desperately wicked.
Our minds are desperately wicked. We are always trying to figure out how to do wrong. Read.
Who can know it?
Who can know it? Read.
I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways, and according to the fruit of his doing.
According to the fruit of his doing. So our minds, our hearts are desperately wicked. That's why I respect brothers and sisters that reach out and they say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? That let me know you in the right mindset. You understand that you're wicked. You understand that you need counsel to get stuff right. Because you know you admitting, you know what? And not you admitting, you submitting to the Bible. Because that's what the Bible says. That means you accept that the Bible is true. One thing, me and Captain Mathias, Captain Kim Ewell, all the Florida captains, we always bounce things off each other. We always ask questions. Hey, am I dealing with this right with the congregation? Am I doing with this? Am I doing that? Why? Because we understand you may see something that I'm not seeing. I may be jacked up in the way I'm seeing this or seeing that. But you got to be willing to admit that. You won't really be willing to admit that until you read in the Bible and you find out that your heart is desperately wicked. All right, from there, go to Genesis 6 and 5. See if that's something new on the earth. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5.
The book of Genesis, chapter 6 and verse 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil.
It was what?
Was only evil continually.
So what that lets you know? If we ain't in tune with this Bible, our thoughts are wicked continually. If you want to know if that's right or wrong, look at the world today. Just look. They ain't in tune with the Bible. And you see how they act. You see how the women dress. You see how the men are becoming women. The women are becoming men. The men are becoming woman, trans man, trans woman. It's everything under the sun when you ain't in tune with this Bible. And it's evident to the eye when you walk outside. Read it again.
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Was only evil continually. Was only evil continually. Now, who can tell me why that is? Why do we have such evil thoughts in our minds? Let's see. Let's see if somebody want to answer that. All right, let me hear Soldier Isaiah.
Shalom, Cap.
Hey, shalom, Soldier.
I would say like sin is all around us.
Okay.
Our environment sin is always being pushed on us.
Okay, I like that. That's right. That's right. Give me that. What that? Psalms 51 or Psalms 50? I think it's Psalms 51. Yep. Let's get that. But then I'm gonna break it down even deeper. But that is correct. That is correct. Sin is everywhere. It's within us. So naturally, we're gonna have that thoughts. Those things are gonna come upon us.
The book of Psalms, chapter 51 and verse 5. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity.
We were all born in a world that is full of sin. The world and how it's ran today is not the spirit of Christ. I'm going to back that up. Give me John. Is it John? John 14. Let's see. Yep, John 14 in verse 29, I think. Yep, John 14 and 30. Read that.
The book of John, chapter 14 and verse 30. Hereafter, I will not talk much with you.
I will not talk much with you. Read.
For the prince of this world.
For the what?
The prince of this world.
The prince of this world. Read.
Cometh and hath nothing in me.
See that? The prince of this world cometh and he has nothing in me. He ain't the man that's ruling this earth today is not rolling in the spirit of Christ. That's why we get looked at the way we get looked at. Sisters walk outside with dresses and skirts, y'all get looked at weird. Brothers put fringes on their garment, we get looked at weird. We got a tent inside our house, we get looked at weird. Why? Because the prince of this world is running the earth. This world is not in the spirit of Christ. Christmas, that ain't the holiday spirit. That's the spirit of the devil. from October 31st to January, no, to February, well, every day, the whole year, the whole damn year is wicked as hell. Why? Because he run the earth. This man run the earth, and it's on his timetables. What was I finna go from that? Oh, yeah, to back that up even further. It says the prince of this world, go to Ephesians 2 and 1. 2 and 2, that's what I want, Ephesians 2 and 2.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 2 and verse 2. Where in time past, read. Ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air.
You see that? All of us was walking in accordance to the prince of the power of the air. It's kind of funny when you think about it. It's like, damn, we was all zombies at one point. We celebrated Christmas. We celebrated Thanksgiving. We celebrated the Super Bowl. We celebrated Valentine's Day. We celebrated Labor Day. We was all robots. So when you get unplugged, remember when Neo got unplugged? He couldn't get counsel from somebody else that just got unplugged. How that look? Both of us just get unplugged. Hey, oh, you wise. Let me get some wisdom. No. Both y'all brand new zombies. So let's find the old head that's been here. Okay, oh, there we go. All right, there go Morpheus. He been unplugged for a minute. Let me get counsel from him. But a lot of times in this truth, we don't do that. Or we walk around and we think we know everything now. Oh yeah, let me see. I got the matrix broken down, brother. I've been outside the matrix for 5 minutes. I already got it figured out. I know y'all been down here battling for years, but I know what's going on. I got the wisdom. Read it again, Ephesians 2 and 2.
Book of Ephesians, chapter 2 and verse 2. Wherein time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, The spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience.
The spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Because now that spirit is what's on the earth. And that's how the children of disobedience work. All the people in the world, like we saw what just happened in Ebor or Ybor, the brothers getting shot, all those different things happen. Why? That's the spirit of Satan, the prince of this world. It does not work in order. So my question was, why are thoughts evil continually? Go to 2nd Ezra 3. Let me show you why. 2nd Ezra 3 and 21.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 3 and verse 21. For the first Adam, bearing a wicked heart, transgressed.
For the first Adam bearing a wicked heart transgressed. Read.
And was overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And so be all they that are born of him.
Read.
Thus infirmity.
Sin
was made permanent. So from the time that Adam listened to his wife, from that point on, all of us were born in that same manner. Now we all have to fight daily against ourselves. Read. Thus infirmity was made permanent.
Mm-hmm.
And the law also in the heart of the people.
So both sides were given us. We have a righteous side in us, and then you got that sin side. That's why it says, we're going to go in Romans in a second, but it's good against evil. It's a constant battle. Read.
Thus infirmity was made permanent, and the law also, and the heart of the people, with the malignity of the root. So that the good departed away. And the evil abode still.
That's why you got those 7 spirits. They constantly coming back and they lurking. If we don't have Christ within us, we'll get overtaken. We will get overtaken every time. From there, go to Romans 7. Romans chapter 7 and verse 15. So that's why we always fight. And that's why we got that evil spirit. Because when Adam sinned, that sin nature was put in us permanently. But that's why it says when we go into the kingdom, it says flesh and blood can't enter the kingdom of heaven. Because that sin nature is going to be removed from us. We're going to be battling no more. Read that.
The book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 15. For that which I do, I allow not.
For that which I do, I allow not. So Paul's saying, the things that I find myself doing, I don't allow it. Meaning I don't condone the actions that I find myself doing. Read.
For that which I do, I allow not.
Mm-hmm.
For what I would, that do I not.
Mm-hmm.
But what I hate, that do I.
So he's admitting, you know what? I deal with this. But I don't want to do it. But why is it happening? Because 2nd Ezra 3 and 21. Because thus affirmity was made permanent in each and every one of us. But this is the crazy part. They got us so jacked up in the head in Christian church now, we ain't even fighting our sins. They say God's laws are done away with. So they just allow everything. So it ain't no battle no more. It's just like, hey, it is what it is. That's the trick bag they got us in. Read verse 16.
Verse 16. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that is good.
I consent that the law is good. Read.
Now then, it is no more I that do it.
He said, it ain't me. It ain't what I want to do. Read.
But sin that dwelleth in me.
But what?
But sin that dwelleth in me.
He said, it ain't me. Trust me, it ain't me. But it's that sin that dwells in him. That sin nature that we just read about. Read.
For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing.
Read.
For to will is present with me.
The spirit man is always present with you. Read.
But how to perform that which is good, I find not.
Right. So he's showing you that battle that we all go through. And that's why it's so important to get counsel. Because when you're going through the battle, sometimes your flesh get weak. He's saying you may give heed to what you want to do. But when you're spiritual, you say, you know what? Let me get counsel. I give you an example. I was riding down, and this is the difference between somebody that's been in the truth a little bit and somebody, hey, I'm riding, and the radio turned on. I was like, hey, that sound good. It was some Rod Wave. And I said, that's some wicked ass stuff. Let me turn this off. Let me see. Royalty Priesthood just dropped a new album. Let me turn it on. And ain't nobody got to tell me that. I'm able to do that myself. But when you're younger in the truth, you may need that counsel. You may need somebody to call with you to correct you. You need those counsel in those situations when you're going through those things. You're not able to reframe your own mind. From there, go to Mark 7:21. Mark chapter 7, verse 21.
The book of Mark, chapter 7 and verse 21. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts.
Proceed what?
Evil thoughts. Adulteries. Fornications. Murders. Thefts. Covetousness.
Read.
Wickedness. Deceit. Lasciviousness. An evil eye. Blasphemy. Pride. Foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
So all of those spirits are found within us. Some of us are able to kill off some of them. Some of us are fighting with these daily. Some of these come at different times, different spots in your life. But those are the spirits that are contained within us that we must kill. That's why the scripture says, mortify your members that are upon your body. How do you do that? You do that through counsel. You do that through examining yourself. So that was the first part of the class, showing y'all why we all need counsel, because each and every one of us deal with all of those different things. And if you lean into your own understanding, we all gonna perish. But the way out is to do what? To seek counsel, to get advice, and realize, hey, what do I need to do to get to where you at? You've been in the truth 20 years. I'm battling an envious spirit. What do I need to do to get that spirit off me? Okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. Okay, cool. Okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. All right, cool. Because, and this is how you know Esau used our methods. They use biblical methods. When you take a new job, what's the first thing they do when you get a new job? If it's a good job anyway. All of us don't have good jobs and bad jobs.
Go through orientation.
You go through orientation, right? They teach you the way. What else you get? After orientation. All right, let me see. Okay.
Probationary.
You get a probationary period, okay.
Touch your beard.
No, brother, no. We way in left field. Let me hear Isaiah.
You get training.
You get training, okay, and what else? You should know this, Isaiah. What else you get when you get training? Let me hear Gideon.
An employee handbook.
Yeah, you get a handbook.
All right.
What else you get? You get a guide or a counselor, right? Or they call them a mentee or a mentor, right, on the job to show you the ropes, right? So when you have a question, so you don't make the same mistakes that person had made. You got the brother that been on the job 20 years. You go to McDonald's, you know. I remember I got a job at Sonny's, right? I was a server. They gave me an older server. I had the mirror and they showed me the ropes, showed me everything that's going on. Likewise, when y'all come in the truth, what do you men get? Y'all get officers. Sisters, y'all get big sisters, right? So they can show you, all right, look, hey, sis, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do this. Shouldn't do that. Why? Because you don't know what's wrong or what's right. You're going to lean on your own understanding when you come in. You're like, all right, cool, well, seems like I should do this or do that. No, that ain't the way we do things. All right? So that's why you got to have counsel. So to properly receive counsel, you must admit that you don't know what's best. To properly receive counsel, you must admit that you don't know what's best. Hebrews 5:12. Because it's hard to get counsel when in the back of your mind you think you already know what's right. And I'm like that sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get the counsel, but I already know the answer. but you don't know the answer. And when you're willing to admit that, that's when you really can grow. Read that.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 5 and verse 12. For the time ye ought to be teachers.
When the time you ought to be teachers, read.
Ye have need that one teach you again.
You have need that one teach you again. So all of us hit that point at some point where we think we can walk on our own 2 feet. But God says you have need that one teach you again. Read.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of God. And are become such as have need of milk. And not of strong meat.
Read.
For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness.
Read.
For he is a babe. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age.
That are of full age. Read.
Even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
So if you haven't have your senses exercised, what's another word for your senses exercised? What's that word? What's the word I'm looking for? When you had your senses exercised. Yes, sir.
To have your senses tested.
Okay, yeah. It's one word I want. Senses exercise. Start with an E. Starts with an E. All right.
Experience.
There you go. Experience. You don't have no experience. You don't have any experience. Like I said, speaking about an officer this week. Like, bruh, listen, telling you, if you do that, ABCD is going to happen. How do I know that? I've been here 10 years. I've seen it a million times. I've seen all these brothers leave. They go to other cities, and they become I don't know what. But they ain't on the right path. They in a black shirt sitting there. When you was here, you was making moves, you was doing ABCD, you left, it ain't the same. And we can see that. Why? Because we had our senses exercised. Because we've seen it. All right, from there, go to Matthew 18 and 3. Matthew 18 and 3.
The book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 3. And said, verily, I say unto you, except you be converted.
Except what?
Except you be converted.
Except you be converted.
And become as little children. Ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
So, for you to really receive counsel, you got to take that counsel as a child take counsel. I got 6 kids. When we tell them something, for the most part, they listen. They may not do it all the time, but they listen, they consider what you're saying, they try to do it. Some of us get counsel, and the second they turn around, you like, nah, I ain't doing that. Sound good. He don't know what he talking about. Let me ask such and such. Let me get some more counsel. We just had a brother demoted for that. No. Hey, the direct counsel was to do this, they do this. Like, bruh, what's wrong with you? Can't do that. You must become as a child to receive the counsel. 1 Corinthians 2 and verse 12.
Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2 and verse 12. Now we have received not the spirit of the world.
So the disciples, the apostles, they have not received the spirit of the world. Read.
But the spirit which is of God.
But the spirit which is of God. There is a difference. That's why some brothers, they come in here, they got their hair crazy, they wear certain clothes. We can tell you got the worldly spirit on you. You can tell it's outward. Because what's going on the inside is going to protrude on the outside. Read.
That we have received not the spirit of the world.
We haven't received the spirit of the world. Read.
But the spirit which is of God.
But the spirit which is of God. Read.
That we might know the things that are freely given to us of God.
The understanding of the Bible. Read.
Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth.
Read.
But which the Holy Ghost teacheth. Comparing spiritual things with spiritual.
You see that? We compare spiritual things with spiritual. Those are the older brothers and sisters in this truth. We look at things through a spiritual lens. We aren't carnal. We're examining you through the scriptures, not because I want to do harm to you or because you look a certain way. No, it's spiritual. Read.
But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God. For they are foolishness unto him.
Read.
Neither can he know them.
Neither can he know him. Read.
Because they are spiritually discerned.
Because they are spiritually discerned. From there, go to 1 Timothy 3 in verse 5. 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 5. When you're spiritually discerned, I'm going to show you what God calls you.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 5. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Not a novice.
Not a what?
Not a novice.
Not a novice. Not a novice. Read.
Lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil.
So, if you don't want to receive counsel and you new in this truth, or any level in this truth, you're a novice. You are a novice. All of us are novices. I sit at the feet of the deacons and the bishops. We all learning from somebody, some way, shape, or form. Novices. Read. Well, no, from there, go to 1 Peter 2 and 1. And when you are willing to admit you're a novice, you can grow, you can learn. One guy I watch all the time, he always say, for you to be great at something, you got to admit that you're bad. Because after you do it 100 times, then you become good. Anything that you're good at one point, you had to be bad at it. Outside of natural athletic ability. You may can just jump. For the most part, outside of athletics, you have to work at it. You become a great writer after what? Writing. You become great at math after what? Doing math. You become a great driver after driving. So on and so forth. All these different things, it comes from time and experience. 10,000 hours. That's what it says. It takes 10,000 hours at anything to become a master at it. You got to put time in. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Read that.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and all hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings, as newborn babes.
As what?
As newborn babes.
That's what we must come as. We got to come before the Lord as newborn babes. Go back up and I'm going to show you why. Read verse 1 again.
Wherefore, laying aside all malice.
We got to get counsel because we have malice inside of us. Read.
And all guile.
We have guile inside of us.
And hypocrisy.
We are hypocrites.
And envies.
We are envious.
And all evil speakings.
And all evil speakings. These things are not so far removed from you. That is why you have to come before him as a newborn babe. Read.
As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk.
You got to desire the sincere milk. Read.
Of the word, that ye may grow thereby.
So with the understanding of the Bible, with the constant counsel, that is how you grow. That is how you grow. That is how the counsel can become a blessing. Some brothers, they come into the truth the first week. Hey, Cap, I got a heathen wife. What should I do? Okay, the scripture say this, that, and that. Okay, cool. I'm going to go get a divorce. Other brothers, they sit here 4 years, 10 years. Hey, Cap, yeah, I don't think my wife an Israelite. Oh, yeah? Why? Because really what you're saying, you thought you could solve the problem by yourself that whole time. But when you come as a newborn babe, you want to get the problem fixed. You can't get the problem fixed if you're not open about it. And I don't see it done both ways. From there, go to Sirach chapter 6 and verse 32. So who can we get counsel from in this truth? Being a newborn babe, being a child in this truth, who do we get counsel from?
The book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 32. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught.
If you want to learn this Bible, you're going to get taught. Read.
And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent.
Read.
If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding.
If you love to hear, you're going to receive some understanding. Read.
And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise.
Read.
Stand in the multitude of the elders.
Do what?
Stand in the multitude of the elders.
Now stand in the circle with the new brothers.
Multitude of the elders.
Stand in the multitude of the elders. The brothers that's been around. The brothers that's got some rank. invested in this truth, that's who you got to be around. The sisters that's been married for years, that's got children, that's taking care of things at home. Those are the people you want to get counsel from. Read it again.
Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise.
Read.
Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee.
Read.
And if thou seest a man of understanding,
Read.
get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Now, that's pretty simple. Find a man of understanding and wear out the footsteps of his door. That is who you get counsel from. The brothers that got the understanding. And understanding ain't just remembering precepts. Understanding is applying the precepts. Are they living the scriptures that's being brought out? Or as Bishop like to say, back at the ranch, is something else going on. Good old ranch. That's going to be my next class. Back at the ranch. Yeah, back at the ranch. Let's back that up. Sirach 19 and 24. Sirach chapter 19 and verse 24. It ain't just the brother that bring out all the deep precepts in the circle. That's the brother that you need to get counsel from. Nah, not quite.
The book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 24. He that hath small understanding and feareth God is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High.
So if you got a small understanding and fear God, you're better than one that have much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. In my time in this truth, Captain Shem don't go over a lot of deep stuff, but he got the understanding. But when you talk with Captain Shem, if you really want to get some counsel, Captain Shem is very, very wise. He got a master's degree. You wouldn't know he got a master's in mathematics. He was a school teacher for 10 years. He got a lot of wisdom of the world. But you wouldn't know that by his outward. But when you get counsel, like, damn, that's some wise. I didn't know you had that in you, Cap. But meanwhile, you got other brothers I don't see, other captains, wonderful breakdowns, all this different stuff. But back at the ranch, things is jacked up. Ain't got no job, can't keep a job, disrespectful to their peers, all these different things going on. Because that stuff don't matter. You got to not only examine their spiritual understanding, but you got to see, are they applying it in their lives? Read that again, Sirach 19:24.
The book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 24. He that hath small understanding and feareth God is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High.
So always keep that in mind. The most important thing is to keep the commandments. Understand that. I remember when me and Cap first started teaching class, we said, hey, all we're going to deal with is the basic things that people deal with. Getting the people to stop sinning. All we worry about. And we let the bishops and deacons deal with that. And you know what? Everybody, hey, man, that class on that, on stress, on overeating, on this, on that, that's what we needed. Because that's what's important. That's what the people need. Obviously, we got to bring out the prophecy. Scriptures tell us to bring out the prophecy. That's why we almost up out of here. But for us to get there, we got to apply the commandments. And for you to apply the commandments, you got to get counsel. Because things that may seem simple to somebody that's been in the truth ain't so simple to somebody else. From there, go to 1 Kings. No, go back to Sirach 6, because I was going over who to get counsel from. Who to get counsel from. Yep.
Book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 37. Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thine own desire.
Ah, that's key right there. He's going to give you wisdom at your own desire. We got a officers of 50 through 90s group. And some of the brothers, they ask a whole lot of questions. And they get a whole lot of answers. Some other groups I'm in, they don't ask any questions, so they don't get any answers. But understand, if you ask questions, you're going to get your answer 9 times out of 10 in this congregation. In IUIC, somebody going to know the answer. Unless Bishop say, hey, I don't know that. All right, cool, he don't know it. But 9 times out of 10, somebody going to know the answer. You got to be willing to ask the question. All right. 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 1. Now, I'm going to give you an example in the scriptures where it lays out a perfect example of who to get counsel from and who not to get counsel from. 1 Kings 12, start at verse 1.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 12 and verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass, when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee.
So Solomon's gone. Now Rehoboam is about to reign. Jeroboam and the rest of Israel is coming before him. They're saying, hey, look, when Solomon was ruling, things was hard. We need a change. All right, read.
Verse 5. And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I might answer this people?
So Rehoboam, he went and got counsel from the same men that counseled Solomon. You think they had some good counsels? Yeah. Solomon was what? What was Solomon? He was wise, but how wise was he? He was the wisest man to ever live. Solomon knew everything. All right? Solomon knew everything. Give me that Ecclesiastes and Wisdom of Solomon real quick. Real quick. Dealing with Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 7. And start at verse 17.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 17. For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know how the world was made.
Solomon knew how the world was made. Read.
And the operation of the elements.
He knew how the elements moved. He understood fire. Read.
The beginning, ending, and midst of the times.
Read.
The alterations of the turning of the sun, and the change of seasons, the circuits of years, and the positions of stars, the natures of living creatures.
The natures of living creatures. Read.
And the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds, and the reasonings of men.
He understood the reasoning of men. He was a psychologist. Read.
The diversities of plants, and the virtues of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know.
So Solomon knew all this, and he still had counselors. Y'all see that? How many of y'all know how the elements work? I don't know how the elements work. I still don't know how FaceTime works. But we don't know these things. Solomon knew all that, and Solomon still had a group of men that he counseled with. Why? Because he still understood that what? His heart was wicked. His heart was wicked. He wasn't right. So he said, you know what? I need counselors. So if Solomon was able to do that, how much more ourselves? 1 Kings 12.
Book of 1 Kings, chapter 12 and verse 6. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever.
So the old men gave him good counsel. They said, look, if you treat these people good, they'll be your servants forever. Read.
But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. And he said unto them,
hold on, but read verse 8 again.
But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him.
So instead of taking the counsel of brothers that had experience, he said, I'm going to listen to these young dumb brothers. I'm going to listen to the millennials. I know we got all the bishops and the deacons, but I'm going to listen to the MOV brothers. Them brothers just passed MOV. They got all the understanding. They on fire. The bishops and deacons ain't been through MOV in 30 decades. Yeah, but they got wisdom. They got understanding. Because guess what? They created the MOV program. That's how you got to look at it in spiritual sense. That's what Rehoboam did. But guess what? That's what a lot of us do in our own lives. That's the type of choices we make. Who do you get counsel with? Oh, I counsel with such and such. What sense that make? I don't know. Did you call your big sister? No. Okay. Did you call the officer? No. Did you call the captain? No. Okay. We do the same thing. Yet, you'll consult with those that are right beside you. Why? Why do you think we do that? Why do you think we do that? Let me hear y'all answers. Brother Moshe.
We already have an idea of the answer that we want. So the person next to us
There
is
you
give us
go. 100% correct. Because they're going to give you the answer you want to hear. If y'all grew up with two parents, you know which parent to ask. Yeah, if I ask my mom, she going to say no, but pops don't care. I'm like, hey, daddy, we can go to that party tonight? Yeah, I don't care. All right, cool. In there. Yeah, daddy didn't never care. Ask your mama, nope, can't do nothing. That's what we do in this truth. You know, you go to that one counselor, you already know what they're going to say. You know exactly the answer you're going to get. But you go to this counselor, you know you're a little bit more lenient. They ain't got the same understanding as that brother, sister. They ain't been married. They ain't got kids. So you want to make yourself feel good and go to them for counsel. Sister's real good for that. I don't know how many sisters they like, I need a new big sister. How many big sisters you want? You need 10 big sisters. We're going to name something. We're going to give you an auntie. That's what we do. We give you an auntie. You can't have a big sister. So, from there, we got to keep reading. Dog, time went late. It's 9:10. This is what we're going to do. Give me 2nd Ezra 14:34. 2nd Ezra 34. So, I ain't even get into the class. Y'all threw me off because nobody showed up on time. But we're going to get started. Next week, hopefully it's better. All right. So, 2nd Ezra 14:34.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 34.
This is what all of us must do. For us to grow, for the counsel to be a blessing and not a curse, this is what we must do. Read that.
Therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding.
That's what counsel is all about. Getting counsel is subduing your own understanding. Whether you think you need to move, whether you think you need a new job, whether you think you're ready to prove or not prove, all these different things that we go through, you got to subdue your own understanding. Read.
And reform your heart.
And do what?
Reform your heart.
You got to reform your heart. Read.
Ye shall be kept alive.
And ye shall be kept alive. That counsel, that wisdom that's going to be imparted upon you is what's going to keep you alive. Read.
And after death.
And what?
After death.
After death.
Ye shall obtain mercy.
After death, you're going to obtain mercy because you are willing to submit. You are willing to subject yourself to wise counsel from learned brothers and sisters. Was that it on that?
Yes, sir.
Read it again from the top.
Verse 34. Therefore, if so be that you will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, ye shall be kept alive. And after death, ye shall obtain mercy.
And after death, you shall obtain mercy. So, next week, we're going to be back at 7:30. 7:30. I see one says she just got off work. She got a pass. But the rest of y'all wasn't at work. So, with that, we say shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is